この前のドスコイ。
Ayane, a plus-size girl who carries both courage and hope, finally gathers the strength to confess her feelings to Hayato, the boy she's admired for so long. Ever since he saved her from a falling Buddha statue, her heart has quietly belonged to him. With shaky hands, she presents him a box of chocolates she made herself. But instead of kindness, Hayato's gaze drops to her in dismissal, and with a single word, he crushes her world, Dasukoi. A cheer from sumo wrestling, but in that moment, it's meant to mock her size. The laughter, the sting, the shame are all too much. Ayane forces a brave smile, but inside, she's shattered. Not even her friend's support or the comfort of watching her favorite idol's videos can ease the ache of that moment. And so, from this heartbreak, her true journey begins. This is Dasukoi, Sukahira. In the peaceful countryside of Yamanashi, Ayane Sukahira is a cheerful teenager who starts every day working on her family's farm. She spends most of her time with her best friends, Chihiro Shina, Akiha Soi, and Haru Nakamori. Together, they call themselves the Fat Four. While they don't get much attention at school, their friendship is strong, and they always have each other's backs. However, after Hayato mocks her, Ayane feels deeply embarrassed and heartbroken. She rushes away and hides in the school restroom. That's when Shina steps in with a fresh idea. Why not go to Tokyo for a beauty treatment? At first, Ayane is unsure if it will help, but with Shina's encouragement, she agrees. At the Tokyo salon owned by the stylish Kurata, Ayane feels nervous and out of place. She doubts if she belongs there. But Kurata's kind words help her relax. As the treatment begins, Ayane starts to realize that true change isn't about how she looks, it's about learning to love herself. Years after graduating, Ayane starts a new chapter in Italy, the land famous for its fine chocolate. She lands a job at a local chocolate shop, where she gets to taste delicious treats every day. For the first time, no one mocks her appearance or calls her Dasukoi. Meanwhile, she shares a cozy home with Fred, a makeup artist who introduces her to yoga, traveling, and a more relaxed lifestyle. Her days are filled with things she loves, tasty chocolate, good friends, and a peace she's never known before. However, during a holiday trip, Ayane has a jet ski accident and falls into a coma. Weeks later, she wakes up to learn she needs stomach surgery. The operation causes her to lose weight quickly, lose her appetite, and feel like her own body is unfamiliar. Although doctors say she looks better now, Ayane feels lost. She no longer recognizes herself, so she decides to return to Japan. Her family is worried, and so is she. Facing her old life with a new body won't be easy. At the airport, her 3 childhood friends come to meet her. At first, they don't recognize the slim woman walking toward them, but when she speaks, they freeze. The voice is Ayane's, but everything else has changed. Later, at a cafe, Ayane only takes a few bites of her meal. Her friends watch, confused. The girl they knew before would have finished her plate. Shina begins to understand how much Ayane's life has changed, and a quiet jealousy starts to grow. Back in Tokyo, Ayane isn't sure where to stay. Her parents invite her home, but the family farm is now managed by her brother and sister-in-law. Not wanting to be a burden, she feels hesitant. Meanwhile, noticing Ayane's struggle, Shina takes her to her workplace, a therapy salon called Happy Daikanyama. There, Ayane reunites with Kurata, the salon owner who once helped her build confidence. Kurata is stunned by how much Ayane has changed. She barely recognizes her at first, but when Shina speaks up, Kurata listens closely. Shina explains that Ayane used to be Japan's top dairy milker. Her hands were truly magical. She believes those same hands could bring great healing in therapy. Though Ayane remains quiet and unsure, Kurata senses a spark in her. The salon serves important clients who value privacy, and Ayane is calm. Gentle touch might be just what they need. So, Ayane is offered an internship. Slowly, her instincts return. Years of working on the farm have trained her hands to soothe and comfort. Before long, clients begin calling her the hands of God. Despite all the changes in her life, Ayane always carries a piece of chocolate in her pocket, not to eat, but as a reminder of where she came from. One afternoon, Kurata asks Ayane to handle a private session for a very important client, since Kurata injured her hand. When Ayane sees the name, she freezes. It's Takumi Minato, her longtime idol. This is a huge moment. It's Ayane's first time giving therapy to a man, and not just anyone. It's the man she's admired for years. Nervous but determined, she proceeds. The session goes surprisingly well. and Takumi is so impressed he asks for her again right away. Later that night, Ane returns to her boarding house to find a surprise visitor. Fred has flown in from Italy without telling her. He's not just visiting, but he came all the way to Japan to see Takumi Minato's concert. Proudly, he admits he's a huge fan and wants to enjoy every moment. The next day, Takumi returns for another session. When it's over, he asks Ane out to dinner on her day off. At first, she's unsure if he's serious. But when he insists and even calls it a date, setting the time and place, Ayane starts to panic.
どうしたらいいんだ
She's never been on a date before, especially not with someone like him. Plus, her wardrobe is mostly cow print tees and comfy clothes. She seriously considers canceling. Meanwhile, Fred notices her worry right away. Without making a big deal, he steps in to help. He tells her it's not about looking perfect, but about having the courage to go. Without needing more explanation, Fred gets to work. He picks out an outfit, styles her hair, and does her makeup. By the time he's finished, Ane looks like a whole new person. As she leaves, she thanks Fred, but doesn't mention who she's meeting. Ayane arrives at the public stairs near the salon, just like Takumi said. She waits nervously, wondering if maybe he was joking after all. Then Takumi appears. They walk out together, and Ane tries to keep some distance, worried about what others might think. But Takumi reaches out and takes her hand, showing he doesn't care about appearances. The restaurant is fancy and beautiful. Ayane is amazed, and for a moment, it all feels like a dream. Suddenly, a notification pops up from the Line Poco Poco game. Ayane thinks it's hers, but it's actually Takumi's. They laugh when they realize they both play the same game. When Takumi sees her level, which is 900, he's impressed. They add each other as friends in the app, and Takumi says if he ever sends her a clover, it means he wants to see her again. The rest of the night goes smoothly. They joke, share stories, and relax. For the first time, Ane isn't just a fan or an outsider, she's simply herself, and she feels truly seen. After dinner, Ayane still feels unsure. She wonders why someone like Takumi would ask someone like her out. But Takumi stops her, telling her not to doubt herself. To him, their time together wasn't by chance, it was meaningful. That night, Ane walks into her boarding house with a quiet smile, still caught up in memories of the dinner. She thinks over how Takumi looked at her and the things he said. Fred watches her closely. He doesn't ask any questions, but he can tell something has changed. Ayane seems lighter and happier. The next morning, as Ayane heads to work, her phone buzzes with a message from Line Poco Poco. It's from Takumi. He sent her a clover. Just as he promised, it's his way of saying he wants to see her again. Ayane's face lights up, and she walks to the salon with a little extra spring in her step, feeling excited. Meanwhile, at Happy Daikanyama, Karada receives an invitation to a birthday party for one of their regular clients, Mr. Yokohama, who is turning 60. However, since she has a trip to Osaka coming up, Karada can't attend. She asks Ayane to go in her place. At first, Ayane feels nervous. Attending such a fancy event and representing the salon feels intimidating. But Karada reassures her that Mr. Yokohama would be glad to see her, so Ayane finally agrees. A few days later, Ayane arrives at the party dressed elegantly. People notice her, but unexpectedly, across the room, she spots Hayato Mabuchi, now a rising actor. Standing beside him is actress Ai Fujishiro, who seems to recognize Ayane, likely because of her recent connection to Takumi. Curious, Fujishiro approaches Ayane and starts asking about her relationship with Hayato. Ayane keeps it simple, saying he was just a senior from school. But Fujishiro senses there's more beneath the surface. She knows Hayato means more to Ayane than she lets on. Later, Fujishiro teasingly talks to Hayato. She mentions that Ayane used to be his fan and that Takumi Minato now calls her the goddess with magic hands. Then, with a whisper, she leaves. Not long after, Hayato comes over and asks to speak with Ayane privately. He tells her that he and Takumi are in the same talent agency. Although Takumi has more experience, Hayato admits he still has a lot to learn. Then, unexpectedly, Hayato asks if she really was his fan. He confesses he never noticed her back in high school. Ayane stays composed and reminds him they were in different grades, so it's no surprise he doesn't remember. Suddenly, Hayato leans in and kisses her. Ayane freezes, unable to move or speak. That kiss was her first. As Ayane leaves the party, she sees Takumi talking with Fujishiro. The sight makes her uneasy. Shortly after, Miss Aso approaches and casually remarks that Takumi and Fujishiro seem like a good match. Then she warns Ayane to be careful, not to get too close. According to Miss Aso, Takumi has a history with women and a charm that can easily fool people. Later that night, As Ayane gets ready to leave the party, Mr. Yokohama offers her a ride. She's hesitant but agrees. Inside the elevator, she politely hands him a gift, but then Mr. Yokohama starts behaving inappropriately. Just before things escalate, his wife, Mrs. Motoko, appears. She had her suspicions and finally catches her husband crossing the line. The next day, Ayane arrives at work feeling down. Rumors have been swirling that Takumi might already have a girlfriend, and it weighs heavily on her. Then Hayato shows up, saying Takumi won't be attending the session and that he'll take his place instead. Hayato confesses that he likes Ayane and tries to kiss her again. But before anything happens, Takumi walks in, surprising them both. Hayato quickly explains that Miss Aso told him Takumi was too busy and that he just wanted to help. Takumi cuts straight to the point. He says his relationship with Fujishiro is over. He came to be honest with Ayane and explain everything. Meanwhile, Hayato and Fujishiro share a private phone call, both looking worried about Takumi and Ayane growing closer. A few days later, Takumi invites Ayane to the same restaurant where they had their first dinner. He apologizes for hiding his past with Fujishiro, but Ayane doesn't let go easily. She tells him he doesn't truly know her, that she's not some perfect version of herself. Suddenly, Fujishiro interrupts, calling Ayane by her old nickname Dasakoi Sukahira, and showing a photo of Ayane before her transformation. Takumi is shocked. The woman in the picture looks nothing like the Ayane sitting across from him. Ayane doesn't hide anything. She admits how much her life changed after losing weight, about hiding in her room, playing games all day, feeling worthless. Without another word, she walks away. Takumi tries to follow, but it's too late. Paparazzi spot them and rush in, turning what should have been a private moment into a media frenzy. That night, Ayane breaks down, crying alone in her room. The next morning, on the street, two teenage girls confront her, blaming her for Takumi and Fujishiro's breakup. When she reaches the salon, reporters are already waiting, pushing microphones in her face, demanding answers about her personal life. Inside, as Ayane tries to work, she watches a live press conference. Fujishiro tells the media that the woman seen with Takumi and Ayane was just a friend, and that Fujishiro herself was there too. But soon the truth surfaces. The woman in the photo wasn't Fujishiro at all. It was Hayato's girlfriend. Suddenly, the public begins to doubt everything. Shortly after, Hayato arrives and reveals that Mr. Yokohama planned the entire scandal. To fix things, he suggests a cover story. Ayane should pretend to be his girlfriend to protect Takumi's reputation, especially with his big projects coming up. But Hayato isn't just trying to protect his image. He says he wants their story to be real and asks Ayane to leave the mess behind and go back to Yamanashi with him. On their way, they stopped at a hotel. That's when Hayato suddenly changed. His behavior crossed a line that shocked Ayane. She pushed him away and demanded an explanation, making it clear she wasn't someone to be taken lightly. Inside the hotel room, Hayato confessed that Fujishiro had told him about Ayane's past. He realized Ayane once had a crush on him, though he hadn't noticed back then. He even admitted that the nickname Dasakoi, which used to feel like a harmless joke, now sounded cruel. Finally, Ayane spoke up. She shared how she admired him ever since he saved her from that accident, and how she had poured her heart into making Valentine's chocolates just for him. But Hayato reminded her that he was the one who first called her Dasakoi. He said he got so many chocolates in school, he couldn't remember every girl, especially those he wasn't interested in. Then he revealed his real plan, to keep Takumi away from Ayane. He hoped Takumi would reunite with Fujishiro, so Hayato could have Ayane all to himself. Angered by this, Ayane slapped him. She told him she wasn't a prize to be won. Without another word, she turned and walked away, leaving Hayato behind. On the way home, a Buddha head statue fell off a moving truck and nearly hit Ayane just like years before. But this time, Takumi was there. He rushed to her side and pulled her to safety, protecting her from harm. Still shaken, Ayane looked up as Takumi held her tightly. He said how glad he was to see her again and that her past never mattered to him. Suddenly, reporters appeared, cameras flashing everywhere. But just before things got out of control, Ayane and his friends arrived in a car and whisked them away. They headed straight to Sukahira Farm, where Ayane's family welcomed them with warmth. At the farm, everything finally settled. Surrounded by those who cared, Ayane began to feel calm again. The connection between her and her friends slowly started to heal. Later, while watching TV, a live press conference appeared. Fujishiro apologized to everyone involved, including Takumi's fans. She thanked Takumi for supporting her career and explained that she had only stayed close to him to help him through tough times. After the broadcast ends, Takumi quietly slips away from the farm. A few days later, He and Ayane meet again at the same restaurant where they once shared a special dinner. There, Ayane honestly shares that she admires Fujishiro's courage, but admits she's not quite that strong yet. Still, she's working hard to grow and build her strength before revealing her true feelings to Takumi. Ayane promises that when the moment is right and she feels ready, she'll seek him out and confess properly. Takumi listens with a gentle smile, agreeing to wait for her, but softly urges her not to keep him waiting too long. The end. So the moral of the story is, don't let some sumo shout or a falling Buddha wreck your day, because no matter what, you'll glow up, find yoga, eat chocolate like a boss, and leave all the haters eating your dust.